Hey, I'm Luke Puplet, and in this video I'm going to take you through some of the features of Zipwire that you'll see as a freelancer. So we left off in the last video signing up, so let me just do that. Okay, so it's creating a passkey. Okay, and then it's emailed me. Let me go and check. My email. Okay, and the code. And WhatsApp, it won't let me see it in the desktop WhatsApp. I have to see it on here. Make sure it's a proper second factor, I assume. 156759. Okay, here we go. So we've landed onto the main sort of landing page, the home page. It's confirming my details there, basically. That's fine, so I'm going to save those. It's inviting me to connect my wallet. I'll ignore that. And then for start journaling is down here. Telling me there's nothing needing my attention. That's generally for staffing agencies and stuff, but it might be for you if you've sent timesheets and you want to know the status of them. That'll appear on this dashboard here. So if we go into my journal, this is how you would track time through the website. So you have week numbers. Everything's done in week numbers. Monday through, weekend is generally hidden. Just we can click to show that. Let's add some time. So we have these sort of what I call microwave style buttons. So you just repeatedly tap on them to ramp your time up. So if we say 7.5 hours, and we set this for Zipwire. Project is, what do we call this? Is this some form of marketing? Activity, videos, let's call it that. Hit add. Okay, I can say where I am. I can sort of on site. This is my office. Notes put on the timesheet. So recording, YouTube, YouTube product vids. Okay, that's fine. It's yellow in this little badge up there. If I click it, it jumps down to the bottom and gives me a little breakdown of every single day, and I can click Save Changes. Scroll back up, and I can jump back up to that Monday day. I can copy down because most days in many companies just look the same. You do the same thing all week, so you can copy down very, very quickly. As you can see, they're all marked yellow again. I can save changes, and that's it. So this here is an activity, and they are linked to workflows. So if I go over to my workflows, it tells me that I cannot add a workflow through this page. Okay, so it says new workflows aren't created here. Instead, add journal entries, and when you come to create your timesheets, we'll look for activities that have no workflow and ask you to set one up or pick an existing one. So if you've been assigned one, for example, or if you've created one previously, you'll link to it. Added activities, you can add further activities here. As you've seen, I've added an activity in the journal itself. And I can delete activities here as well as rename them. So if I go to my timesheets, this is like my outbox, I suppose. So we have a ready, which is like a drafts set of timesheets. Anything you sent and all the ones you've done. I'm going to go back to my journal. I'm going to go back to week 8. I'm going to track some time against something different. So the company that runs, that sort of sits behind Zipwire, is called Evoke Limited, so I'll stick that one in. Project, let's make something up, Alpha, Dev, and that one, stick some time in for this. Let's go 8 hours on that. Copy down, save our changes. If I want to reset one of these, I can hit reset. Has multiple modes, so if I reset that again, it removes it completely, so the Friday has got no track time against it whatsoever. Save that. Thursday, if I start editing Thursday, bump it up to 10 hours, realise that I've made a mistake, hit reset once, it goes back to 8 hours, hit reset again, and it clears it, hit reset a third time, and then it removes Thursday's time tracking as well. Okay, so there's a button for create timesheets. There's also, if we go to my timesheets, a button in here to create timesheets. So I hit that one there. You can go monthly or weekly. You could do anything in between, because if I click week, for example, it shows me the 2 weeks of data that we've got in our journal. But when I click it, it pre-populates the from and the to. So you're free to edit those from and to dates if you want to. Generally speaking, we go week by week. So let me just go back to my journal. I want to add back to week 8, and on the Thursday, let's mix this week up a little bit. Let's go 6 hours on that one. Okay. Save it. Let's create timesheets. The week 8. Okay, all looking good. Hit continue. And what it's doing now is it's saying that this activity is not mapped to any particular workflow, so it doesn't know what to do with it. It doesn't know what timesheet to put it on, for example. So here's where, as a freelancer, you can invite in your boss and your staffing agency to Zipwire. Okay. Ordinarily, the staffing agency would be using Zipwire and they would invite you, but you can do the reverse. Okay. So if you're the boss or Zipwire or agency are not using Zipwire at all, you could invite them in. So approver, what I do is I test with my son. Use my son's account, and then I use another account of mine for the processor, and so basically it comes back to me effectively, but using my Gmail sort of test account. Create new, continue. Okay, and then this time it's found the other work. So if you remember on that week, we mixed it up. So I put some work in for 2 different sort of companies on there. So it's saying, well, those other activities are not mapped to a workflow either. But this time it says, well, because you've already got a workflow set up, just done it, it's suggesting that we map them to that one. But it's got a warning here, and it says, go steady. It's already linked to some activities for Evoke, so it's pointing out that the company names don't match up. So you might not want to choose that one. In this case, I do want to choose that one, so I'm going to go ahead with it. Otherwise, I could create a new workflow just as you've just seen. So there it is. So it's created a timesheet. It's filling it in. So by default, the workflow is set up with an hourly units, and they're uncapped at 1 rate. So you can't do the fancy sort of multi-rate setting and stuff if you're just a person creating your own workflows, but the agencies can. So yeah, it's filled it out, and as you can see here, of course they round nicely. The 8 hours that I worked here in purple, it rounds up nicely to exactly 8 hours of actual billing time. If this was under, it would round it up, and it would round it up and down. There's what it does is it sort of looks, well, I rounded up the last two, I should round down the next one, sort of thing. Not exactly like that, but it keeps a track of sort of your give and take as it's kind of trying to fit your journal to how long you actually worked, so that on average you're neither sort of taking too much or working too little or claiming too little. So it's got that sort of algorithm, and it just errs on the side of caution just to make sure you don't overbill. You can override any of it. So if I wanted to bump that up to 8 hours, I can just click it and bump it up. These bars show how long I really did work, if that makes sense. So I really did work 6 hours, and then pretended to work the rest of the day. So these bars won't be visible on this sent item. So once you've sent it, they become proportional bars. So it won't sort of give away the real time that you actually worked. Not that I'm endorsing you should bump up and so on, but generally speaking, people know what they're doing and they know why they're doing it. They know that they forgot to track some time some other day, and that the company sort of owes them a couple of hours, or they worked through lunch, or they spent Saturday morning, reading a report or something that they didn't track. Anyway, that's what it does. And then it breaks it down to sort of your time spent proportionally. It's given me another warning about the fact that we chose a workflow that looks like it spans a couple of companies. That's fine. We can put a message in here, I'll keep the default one, and we can apply, stick an attachment on it, only one attachment. And then there's configure invoicing as well, which we can get to a little bit later. I'm not going to send this, so I'm going to ignore it for a minute and go to my workflows, and then you can see that it's actually created a workflow now, because previously here, before, if you remember, it said this isn't where you create the workflows. So now it's created it. Okay, another warning about Finn. He's working for two different companies. You've got built-in PDF invoicing here. Okay, so it can attach create a PDF and attach it. If you connect your accounts to FreeAgent via OAuth, just go up there to your account connectivity. If you connect to FreeAgent, then you'll get a FreeAgent option back in here. It's telling me I've got two activities linked to this. I can unlink them and I can just save it. And then we've got the two activities here, both green because they're both linked up. That's all looking good. If we go back to my timesheets, it's forgotten the 2 hours that I added on. So you add it on and then you would send it immediately. And there we are. So that's about it for this video, and then I'll talk about some other ways we can do journaling, and then I'll talk about retracting and doing other operations on your timesheets.